Over the last few years, I've realized something. Every single piece that has earned its place in my wardrobe solved a problem that I kept running into. And once I saw that, I genuinely couldn't unsee it. Before I buy almost anything these days, I ask myself one question: what problem is this solving? And honestly, it saved me thousands of dollars. I realized that the pieces I reached for the most in my wardrobe aren't necessarily the prettiest things in my wardrobe or the most expensive things in my wardrobe. They're the pieces that quietly solve problems that I have on a daily basis. Today's video isn't necessarily about clothes or handbags. It's really about the questions I found myself asking over and over again before I finally started to build a wardrobe that genuinely works for me. If you've been here for a minute, you know my constant summer problem. I love jeans. I'm a jean girly. I love bottoms, but I really hate shorts. And so every year I tried to fix it with a random solution. I would buy random pants. Felt a little lighter, that I thought would work, that I inevitably never reached for. I would buy more dresses. And while I love a dress here and there, I definitely have more of an androgynous style. I like to look a little casual. Like, I would say my day-to-day style is definitely elevated casual. I love a good pair of pants. I feel most comfortable in a pair of pants. So just buying more dresses didn't solve the need that I had. It was just kind of essentially putting a band-aid over it. And then, I also just would buy shorts every year and try to convince myself that if I found the right pair of shorts, somehow I would just inevitably end up wearing them. But then I finally found my solution. And if you've been here, you're probably yelling my solution at me already, but my solution has been linen pants. I would say for the past 3 years, I have been wearing linen pants every summer nonstop. They earned their place within my closet, within my wardrobe, because they really solved summer dressing for me. Now, every summer outfit genuinely starts off here with my linen pants. I'm bringing up linen pants first because that was probably the first time I genuinely realized I wasn't buying linen pants, I was buying a solution. A recent problem that I finally solved has been white sneakers. If you've watched my capsule collections in the past few months, in every capsule collection when we get to the shoe department, I always say a white sneaker will get you far. And yet, have you ever noticed I never have said pair of white sneakers? And I think that they're a great staple, a great capsule wardrobe addition, so long as they feel like you. And that was the problem that I kept finding. Every time I would go to the mall, I would try on white sneakers. I would go on the Nordstrom app, order white sneakers. I tried so many different pairs of white sneakers. You're probably thinking, Fortune, you're crazy because it's just a pair of white sneakers. But the problem that I kept running into was that every time I would try on a pair of white sneakers, I felt like I was trying on someone else's shoes. Like, they just didn't feel like me. I would pivot and I would buy sandals, but I didn't want sandals. I really wanted a closed toe casual sneaker that would genuinely get me far. So I recently found a solution, and they are my beautiful pink New Balance sneakers. Michael actually found them. He was the one who really opened my eyes to this. And he was just like, you want sneakers? Let's find sneakers. I said, well, do you think I should get like colorful sneakers? Because hello, if you look around, if you've been here watching the additions that I've added to my closet, especially in my spring summer capsule wardrobes, I've been adding so much color. Color brings me joy. And so a white sneaker just felt very blah. It felt plain, and it really didn't do anything to excite me or really elevate my outfits. And so these obviously earned their place because now I actually wear sneakers because they feel like me. Sneakers is not the only shoe problem that I have. I love heeled sandals. I talk about them all the time. Elevate any outfit. They feel very like old money luxury to me. And I don't feel comfortable walking around in a 4, 5, 6 inch heel anymore. 3, 2 inches is really my sweet spot. But as much as I love them, I had a problem with them. Every time I would walk, the back would slap against my foot because really the only portion of my foot that was being held in was the front. After a while, I can't say that they were super comfortable. And for me, I always say if you're buying a heel, the best kind of most comfortable heel to buy is one that really has your foot strapped in. Like, the more seat belts around your foot in any kind of heeled shoe, the more stable you will feel in it and the more comfortable you'll feel in it. And so I took my own advice. And you know what I found? I found heeled kitten sandals with 2 straps, a strap on the bottom and a strap closer to the ankle. Because my failed solution before I found them was buying pretty shoes that I didn't reach for. What do I reach for? I reach for my Birkenstocks. I reach for my Gemmy flat sandals. And they just kept leaving me feeling less elevated. I was comfortable, but I wasn't elevated. And so my solution again was a double strap heeled sandal, a kitten heel. And that has really changed the game for me. And comfort, in my opinion, changes everything. And like I always say to you, comfort for me is my luxury. Now, if you watched my most recent video, I just solved this problem, but I was having a handbag problem. As you know, I have been adding more color to my wardrobe. There's so much yellow, there's so much pink, there's so much green. It's so exciting. And so I was taking a look at my handbags and I realized that I had no yellow bag, okay? So I started my yellow bag journey. If you would like to see that video to really get a deep dive as to how I landed on my Louis Vuitton Roxbury bag. It's a vintage bag. She's 26 years old and I am obsessed with her. I will go ahead and link that video here. But then I did a deeper dive and I noticed I also didn't have an east-west silhouette. And I also didn't have a convertible shoulder to clutch bag. I love a shoulder bag. I'm not a big clutch bag wearer, but it's nice to have the option. It's nice to have a clutch bag on nights where you're going out on a date or you're going out with friends, you're going out for, I don't know, I'm thinking like a martini and like oysters. It just feels very elevated. It's nice to have that elevated option without having to fully commit to that elevated option. In that video, I talked about the failed solutions that I found. It all started with my Fendi bag that I found in the mall. I didn't really love that. It was like exciting, but it didn't feel like I needed it. I found a Parisa Wang bag, but that one just didn't feel like me. It was a shoulder bag, which I know I just told you that I love, but I also like louder handbags and I'm such a Louis Vuitton girl. So my solution was the Louis Vuitton Roxbury Drive. It earned its place because of all the gaps in my wardrobe that I just told you that it filled. That purchase taught me that the right piece doesn't just add to your wardrobe, it removes the need for like 3 other purchases. I could have bought a yellow bag, I could have bought an east-west bag, and I could have bought a bag that converts from a shoulder bag to a clutch bag. Buying one great thing is often cheaper than buying 3 almost right things. Like think about it. I could have went out and bought 3 separate handbags, but instead I took a look in my closet, I figured out the gaps, and I did my due diligence, and I fell in love with this handbag. And it was not one solution, but 3 solutions. Do we remember when Continental wallets were all of the rave? Remember when we all just walked around with like big bulky tote bags with our big bulky wallets that held all of our credit cards, all of our gift cards and money? Who the hell carries money nowadays? If you do, no shade. I really don't. I went to Louis Vuitton. I spent like a decent amount of money on this wallet, on this big bulky wallet, and I just realized that I never reached for it. You know, I went out and I bought a new wallet, but ask me if I donated or got rid of the wallet that I was using prior to buying this wallet. I didn't. You know why? It wasn't a solution, this new Louis Vuitton wallet. It was causing me more problems. It was bigger and bulkier than my previous wallet, and it was taking over my handbags. I ended up carrying far less than I liked to carry in any of my handbags because my wallet was taking up so much real estate. And so the failed solution was I was trying to make this larger wallet work. And it's sad, and I should probably sell it. And sitting here thinking about it, I actually think that I will. My solution was a different Louis Vuitton wallet. I ended up buying the pocket organizer. I love it. I get so many questions on it. It holds all that I need. I have my credit card, my license, a few dollar bills here and there. Most of the time I don't, though, I'm not gonna lie. My credit cards that I need, and that's it. You should be adding things into your closet that make your life easier, not cause you more problems, because you're constantly gonna be going out there looking for things to fill solutions to the problems that you have. When if you just take a step back and you think about it, make a list of the issues, the problems that you're having on a daily basis. If you make a list, you can do your research and find things that will maybe check off one of those problems or maybe solve multiples of your problems. And if you're someone where you love shopping, I'm such a shopaholic, but I'm very into intentional shopping, and being someone that would just go out and buy, as much as I got like high off of the buying, the temporary high, when you shop intentionally and you are solving issues in your life, that is when it is not a temporary high. It is something that brings you joy on a day-to-day basis. Now, as much as I love shopping, and I am a self-proclaimed shopaholic, I am also very much so a self-proclaimed jewelry addict. Jewelry is like a part of my personality. I go nowhere without stacks. There is like a hard spot, like a complicated spot in jewelry, at least I think, and that being anything with a clasp. So anything like a bracelet or a necklace. I struggle to get them on and off. My rings, my earrings, my watch, no problem, okay? I will swap them every day. I wake up in the morning, I put all my rings on, I put my earrings on, I put my watch on, I come home at night, I take everything off. Bracelets are harder, necklaces are harder, again, because it just takes like that little bit of extra time, that little bit of concentration. And so sometimes in the morning when I'm running to catch the bus, on days where I didn't have a lot of time, I would leave the home without any bracelets on. And I just felt so naked. I felt so naked. I just did not feel like me. I felt really uncomfortable. I was buying a lot of jewelry that would tarnish. I bought even expensive jewelry. Like I bought a Van Cleef bracelet, and you can't wear gemstones in water. You need to take them on and off. You can't shower with them. You can't get them wet. My solution was my permanent stack. Okay, and anything that I add in the morning is just a cherry on top. But this way I can leave the home and still have at least 4 bracelets on every day. And anything else, like I said, is just an added bonus. These 4 bracelets earned their place because I don't even need to think about it. This is affordable. I will link it down below. It's from the brand Jazzle. Moissanite, I don't know how you say that, in sterling silver, and it has not tarnished. I've literally been wearing this on my wrist for 3 months. I have a real gold tennis bracelet that Mike bought me. I have my Cartier nail, my Cartier Love, and then this is an added bonus. Malachite bracelet from Karma and Luck. It is affordable, but again, it's something that I have to take on and off because anything with a gemstone is precious and you need to treat it as such. Look at tarnish-free jewelry that you can just keep on, that you don't have to worry about, that you can shower in, work out in, swim in, so on and so forth. I genuinely think that it will lead you to wear other pieces of jewelry that you already own because you already have that stack. So if you think about it, you saved the time of adding, 5 bracelets on when you really only need to add maybe 1 or 2 of those pieces that need to come on and off. While I'm a shopaholic, I also get so much stress from clutter. And I'm also someone where if I go into my closet and I can't see what's in my closet, I will just reach for the same things over and over and over again. I did this quite a few years ago and it was game changing. And I know that sounds crazy because we're talking about wardrobe and we're talking about material things, but it did also change the chemistry in my brain and how I think about what it is I add to my closet. Stay with me. The solution to my problem being special occasion dresses, beautiful, never worn, taking up valuable wardrobe space, okay? And so my solution to that is Rent the Runway. It is expensive. I understand that not everyone's gonna be able to afford Rent the Runway, but if you have a little bit of extra income and you're a fashionista, but maybe you live in New York City or you just live in a small apartment where you only have 1 closet, you should look into some kind of subscription. I think there are more affordable ones out there. It's such a great solution because you still get the fun of the dresses and the vibrant clothes and all of that, but you're not sacrificing closet space. So I'm someone where I love bright clothing, I love color, but also like I'm not gonna wear a bright pink dress every single week. That's just something that in my brain, it doesn't earn a permanent spot in my closet. That is a rental property, okay, not a purchase property. But this really changed, like I said, the way that I think about shopping, because this is when I realized that I wasn't just changing what I bought, it was changing what I kept. And so it really made me realize that like my closet is a sacred space. It's important to be able to walk in and feel good about what's in there, not feel overwhelmed like everything's cluttered. Rent the Runway will just always be such a big part of my life and I'm such an advocate for it. I talk about it all the time. Now, a recent problem that I recently fixed and I'm still in the midst of fixing is my pajama problem. Such a pajama problem. I'm such a pajama girl. If left to my own device, I will wear my pajamas all day long. Literally, from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, I'll just go right to bed back in the same pajamas. But this one has nothing to do with fashion and everything to do with my quality of life. The problem was that I was sleeping poorly because I was just constantly overheating in my pajamas and waking up. Now, this is a topic that I've talked about so many times I would say in the past month, but just the materials to which your clothes are made out of. And I've done such a deep dive in my day-to-day clothing, what I wear to work, what I wear to dinner, what I wear in life, okay? But now I'm realizing there are kind of these gaps within my life that I haven't taken a look in. An example can be when I went to Aruba, if you watched that video, and I wore a polyester dress to work. I wore a polyester dress to dinner in Aruba. It was 85 degrees, humid, and we walked 5 minutes and I felt like I was dying of heat exhaustion. So I realized I need to not only look at what it is I'm permanently buying, but also what I'm renting, but also what my pajamas are made out of. I don't really know much about modal, but I do know that it makes me hot. I have gotten rid of all of my pajamas, literally. I got rid of every single pair. Washed them, donated, and now I am investing in cotton, 100% cotton only pajamas. My failed solution was that I would just keep pajamas that looked cute, and in the middle of the night, if I woke up sweating, I would just rip my top off or rip my bottoms off and just go to bed in my underwear, okay? But I sleep better. I sleep more soundly when I have pajamas on. I love a pair of pants. How many times I gotta say it? Whether it's waking hours or sleeping hours, I love pants. But so yeah, I just kept keeping my cute pajamas and ignoring the problem at hand. But this summer, I decided I have had enough. My solution is cotton pajamas. They earn their place because I actually sleep better, and my quality of life because of that has genuinely improved. And I think that's when I realized that this way of shopping wasn't just improving my wardrobe anymore, it was improving little parts of my everyday life. Which actually brings me to one problem I'm still trying to solve. I wanted to end this video with something that still hasn't earned its place. Weekend trips, going down the shore. I really need a duffel bag. And it's been funny in recent years, and I will say it has been funny up until about a month ago, because you have to see me. I need a duffel bag. Instead of carrying 18 things in my hand. I literally am like a bag lady. I have 4 little tote bags. One bag carries my skincare and my makeup. One bag carries my shoes. One bag carries my electronic accessories. I look crazy and it's not fun. And I'm really sick of taking multiple trips to and from the car. I really need to find the right duffel bag. But you know what's so funny? A few years ago, I would have bought the first cute duffel bag that I found. But you know what? Now I'm waiting because I know the right solution is out there. I just haven't quite found it yet. One of the biggest mindset shifts I've had over the last few years is realizing that every purchase should have a job. Genuinely stopped asking, do I like this? And I started asking, what job is this going to fulfill within my wardrobe? Because I've learned that when my wardrobe works better, my life just gets easier. And honestly, I think that that's why I love my wardrobe so much more today than I did 5 years ago. Not because it's bigger, not because it's more expensive, but because almost everything has earned its place. Every piece gets dressed just a little bit easier. And over time, those things add up. Because at the end of the day, I'm not buying products anymore. I'm buying solutions. I'd love to know, what's one purchase you've made that has quietly solved a problem in your life? It doesn't need to be expensive. It could be a handbag, a pair of shoes, a jacket, or honestly, it doesn't even need to be fashion related. I think that those are some of the most interesting purchases that we make, so be sure to let me know and leave it down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I love you guys so, so much. Thank you so much for spending a bit of your day with me, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye, guys. Mwah.